How's it going, guys? Jake from Boatman UK here. Now, these unboxing videos I usually like to do outside, as some of you have probably already seen from my previous videos, but unfortunately UK weather is being very much UK weather today, so I have absolutely no chance, hence the reason why I'm indoors and you join me in a bit of different scenery. Anyhow, we'll continue with this video, and this is going to be an unboxing of the Act Plus V2 set distance. So what's included, what to expect from the boat, a bit of maintenance and a bit of advice, and hopefully answer some of those questions that you may have before purchasing. So let's get this thing out of the box and show you what's included. So first thing you're going to find is just one big case. Now, one of the nicest features about the latest boats, the V2 Act Plus, is that they come in these lovely hard cases as standard. So this isn't something that you need to buy as an optional extra, this is included. Now, everything including the boat itself is within this hard case. So we'll open up the zips on this and get it unboxed for you. So once you've got everything out of the case, what you should find is the following. Most importantly, the bait boat itself, of course. Hopper cover is already fitted on there for you. The battery is already in the boat as well, so you don't need to go hunting for the battery. That's already underneath the lid, and you'll just need to connect that, which I'll show you and go through in a moment. Other than that, you will also have in this white box your mains charger to charge the battery, hopper divider, a set of weed guards, a microfiber towel for cleaning the boat, a charging plug for your remote. In this bag here, you'll have the USB port for the remote to the actual plug, and you'll also have a drain down lead or a USB to battery conversion lead, which again, I'll go through in a moment, an instruction manual and the remote itself, and of course, obviously the hard case. Now, one important thing and one most important bit of advice that I would probably give before you go ahead and use the boat is make sure you give it a good charge up. Now, obviously when they're in storage, when they come to us, they're not fully charged, they're part charged. And obviously what we don't want to happen is for you to go and take the boat out and then it run out of battery part way through using it. For a little test session, you'll probably be okay, but before you go ahead and use the boat properly, give it all a good charge. Now, your battery, as I mentioned, that's already inside the boat, is located underneath this lid. So if I just move everything here to the side, the lid just simply pulls up and pops off. These new type of lids have a waterproof compression fitting, so they're quite tight. So sometimes removing them can be quite tricky. I don't recommend to get a screwdriver or anything like that and try and prise it up because you will damage it. Just a bit of persistence and a bit of index finger strength and you will be able to pull it up quite easily. As I mentioned, here is your battery. I'll show a close-up of this in the video. Located in the boat already. There's a Velcro strap that secures it in place, and all you need to simply do is just use the lead, as you can see here, to connect it to the boat itself. Obviously, removal of the battery is really simple as well. Undo the Velcro strap and use the pull ring on the battery to pull the battery up and out of the boat. Like so. There's also Velcro on the back of the battery, so it's very well in place, so it won't go anywhere. And charging of the battery is really simple. There's a charging port just on the side of the battery, and you're using the mains charger supplied with the battery, or with the boat rather, to charge this. Now, always make sure you're using the charger supplied by us. Other chargers won't be rated to the correct amperage, voltage, etc., etc. At least you know with this charger at all times that this is going to work correctly. There's an LED light on the charger that will indicate its status of charging. Whilst it's on charge, it will be red, and once it's fully charged, it will go green. Now, another piece of advice I highly recommend is once your battery's charged and the LED indicator goes green, remove it back off charge as soon as possible. A couple of hours isn't going to harm it, that's fine. Don't leave it on for extended periods of time over a weekend or even longer, for example. All you'll do is make the battery lazy and you'll make the battery just not last quite as long as what it should. Now, on a full charge out of this, you're going to get around 2.5 hours of playtime. That's constant use, so 2.5 hours of playtime. And for a full charge, you're going to be looking at around anywhere between 8 to 10 hours for a full charge, depending on obviously how much you drain it. There is a battery indicator on both the remote and the boat itself, and on these latest batteries, like on the V2 version, there is also a test button that will show you the LED indication of the battery status as well, which you simply press and you'll get an LED light that will show you the percentage of battery. One thing that I will advise, regarding the battery indication on both of the on both the boat and the battery itself, is that these are only relative to load. So stationary, the battery is going to say 80%, for example, but whilst it's under power and it's got the resistance of water, it may well actually drop a bit more than that. So always actually read by what it says on the remote when it's under power. The remote will actually give you solid feedback as to what status the charge it's at. Because, for example, on the bank it might say 50% and it'll say halfway, but when you actually power it up, you might find it might drop a little bit more. When the battery gets really low, there are a number of things that are in place to prevent you from losing the boat, but you can still technically lose it if you don't follow these exact instructions. So when the battery is incredibly low and it's down to the last 10%, the headlight will flash at you telling you that the battery is low, and on the remote as well, the battery icon will flash. Now, you can choose to ignore that at your own risk. If you have a home point save, which you can do on this remote, you can save a home point and ask it to return home. It will automatically return home once it detects that it's too low on power. So instead of it getting stranded, it will go back to its safe place. However, if you do not save a home point, expect that that boat will cut out in the lake and you'll then go rowing or swimming to go and get it, which for me, who doesn't swim and I don't particularly like water, I don't recommend it. It's not a good time. So always keep an eye on your battery status just to make sure that you're not going to run low on battery. As for the remote itself, same rules apply. Charge time is obviously less than the battery itself of the boat because it's a lot smaller, but everything applies the exact same. The remote will tell you when it's low on battery. You will get a lot more use out of the remote on a full charge, I think from memory around 4 to 5 hours. And there's also an LED indicator that will show up on both the lower section of the remote where its charging port is, and also on the screen as well that will tell you it's charged or it's charging. Now again, same as the battery for the boat, pull it back off charge as soon as you possibly can in order to make sure that the battery is going to have its full life potential as it should. And also the wire that you use, it's a USB-C connector, it's supplied with the boat. You can use any USB-C type connector, that's fine, but always ensure that you're using the charging plug that we supply, same as the mains charger for the battery for the boat, is rated correctly. Now, any other normal random plug without checking it could potentially put too much power through the battery and therefore fry it or cause further damage. So always use the plug that we supply as well. Your hopper divider is something that you don't have to use. It's only to, obviously as its name is, to divide the two hoppers. So if you want to bait up left side with pellet, right side with boilies, and bait up two different areas, for example, you can fit this, really simple to fit, or you can use both Bombay doors as one big hopper and have your full 3 kilos of capacity as one large hopper. The other thing that I mentioned a moment ago that you also get is a battery drain down lead or a power bank type lead. Now, essentially what this does is it allows you to plug the lead into the battery of the boat, and then on the other end it has a USB adapter. And this is actually used to drain or use power from the battery itself to apply charge to something else. So this is ideal for in storage, for like when in winter storage, for example, to keep the batteries at tip-top health. Now, if you're not using your battery for 4, 5, 6 months, then you can run risk of it potentially going a bit lazy. Same as like a car battery. If you leave your car for 6 months and you come to it, I guarantee you turn the key and it doesn't start. Now, if you leave these disconnected, that's going to help massively. But one thing I really, really recommend regarding battery life is to keep the battery active. Now, every couple of months, so 2 to 3 months, is fine. It doesn't need to be every week, but every 2 to 3 months, use the lead that we supply, plug it into the battery, and use the battery itself to just drain it down and just charge up your iPhone, your whatever phone you've got, any other device, tablet, what have you. Use the battery from the boat itself to put power to that. So you're then activating the battery by using it, by draining it a little bit, and then just top it back up on charge after, and that ensures that the battery remains active, doesn't go into a state of laziness or discharge or loses a cell or anything like that. And as I say, you get this with the boat anyway. It's not something you need to buy as an additional accessory, and it just ensures that you're going to get the maximum amount of battery life as you can out of the boat, and it's going to prolong it for a longer period of time. These batteries aren't the cheapest thing in the world, so you want to make sure that you're looking after it and maintaining it so you don't end up needing to buy another battery. Okay, so here we have the remote itself. I'm just going to go through a basic button layout. I'm not going to go through a full instruction. I do have a separate video on a full instruction and user guide of this boat. So we'll just go through what's what. Now, on this screen here, you have your display for pretty much everything you need to know about the boat itself. On the top left corner, we have satellites. That's the amount of GPS satellites we're connected to. As we're currently indoors, we've got 0, but you will reach a maximum of 20. The more satellites you have, the more accurate the boat's going to be, and this is for returning to the home point, because this boat has a basic GPS feature of saving a home point and returning to home point. Here we have our signal strength, so 4 bars being the maximum. You have a 500 metre range on this boat, so you should never really see this plummet too much. Next up, we have our status of movement. So at the moment, as we can see, the boat is stationary, so it's in park. If I go forward, you'll see that change the directional arrow. Simple. Here we have our units, which we're currently in meters. This can be switched to feet as well, which is done in the menu, which I will go through in a moment. And here we have our 2 battery indicators, B for boat and R for remote. And as we can see at the moment, both are actually fully charged. The rest of this screen is mostly referring to the GPS and also orientation of the boat. So for example, we have our home point here. If we have our home point saved, this would tell you how far away you are from your home point. This here is our set distance. So this is the last set distance that we navigated. So we navigated 300 meters, which is quite extreme. These set distance points, they are quite far apart in terms of distance. If you want to use a set distance part, you simply use the left and right arrows just here to navigate to which one you want to go to. You'll see there's a little purple outline box that will be telling you which one you're hovering over. And for example, I'm sat over 80 right now. If I press distance, it will now change that to the 80. And if I decided to go ahead and put it into the auto forward feature, it would go for 80 meters for me. Again, it will do totally depend on which one you navigate and choose. Here we have our left and right hopper. So if I open my left hopper, you will see that will change as open. And if I depress it again, you'll see it's now changed to closed. And on the right is our hook release. Again, if I press the hook release and open it, you will see it will also change. And again, if I close it. Here we have our speed settings. That's another nice thing about this type of remote. You've got 3 adjustable speeds. We're currently in high. We also have medium and we have low, and that's adjusted by single pressing the speed button each time. And then here, lastly, we have our bow direction. This is the orientation that the boat is currently facing. This sometimes needs calibrating, which is done in the menu, which I'll go through in a moment. And that basically gives you a reference as to where the boat is positioned. If it's late at night, for example, it's quite dark, this will help you navigate. The rest of these buttons are pretty much all labelled and self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go through all of them. Along the top, you've got your hopper buttons and your hook release. Here we've got our speed. Here we've got forward, which is auto forward, so if I single press that, the boat will engage auto forward in the background. And to simply come out of auto forward, you just press down on the actual joystick. Here we have our headlight button, so lamp on or off. This is our menu. So to navigate through the menu, single press it, and here we have a variety of little things which I'll quickly try and gloss over as quick as I can. Straight travel is auto forward, so you don't need to worry about that. Set bow direction is that feature I was just mentioning a moment ago, the little sort of icon of the boat, and this is how to calibrate it. You've got a set home point. There's 2 ways you can set a home point. You can either do it on the remote itself or through the menu. Remote pairing, which we don't need to worry about. I've just gone too far, so let me go back. Oops, there we go. And travel speed, which again, we don't need to worry about. Here is probably the most important feature that you do need to be aware of is compass calibration. Compass calibration needs to be done every time the battery is either disconnected or if you're at a new swim. And it just basically ensures that when you send the boat out, it navigates in a nice straightforward line. Again, not going to go into massive detail because otherwise this video will drag on way longer than it needs to. I've covered all this in my other video regarding a user guide on the whole boat itself. Offset adjustment is for adjusting the yaw control for each motor. Navi calibration it's actually not available, so if you click on that, it'll say press menu to return, so that's actually a blank as such. Radio configuration is only ever needed for diagnostics, so you don't need to worry about that. Switch units is how you change between feet and meters. So as you can see at the moment, I'm in meters, so I'm going to change that to feet. And there we go. You'll see it at the top there. That little logo just there has now been changed. Let's go back into the menu. And the rest of this, again, is all mostly just stuff that you don't need to worry about. So I'm not even going to bother showing you any of that. Here we have left and right and OK, which is all for navigating through the menu. Here we have return, which is our button for actually pressing the return home. So if you save a home point, you single press return and it will return back to you. Distance I've already covered, which is your set distance button. And then here is a blank button. The power button as well, of course. Press and hold to power on and off the remote. A single press, you'll see, hopefully, It backlights the actual LED buttons, so if you're fishing in the night, you can hopefully still see them a bit better. The return button, if you press and hold it, it will set the start point or your home point as well for you. So instead of having to go through the menu, you can do it that way by pressing and holding return. And that pretty much covers everything you need to know on the remote. So that pretty much covers this brief unboxing and user guide. If you want a full-blown user guide, I have already done a video on this exact model of boat, which you'll find in our other videos, and that will show you the boat in action and how to use it on the water as well. As I say, if I go on for too long, this video will go on forever and ever, and I only want them to be as brief as possible, just to give you an idea of what's included. So if you're anything like me, I'm on YouTube looking at what I want to buy before I buy it, just to see what's included, and some little bits and pieces, tips and advice I find always help. So again, hopefully this helps. If there's anything I've missed, if you've got any further questions, whether it's regarding this particular model of boat or another model of boat, feel free to ask away, comment below, get in touch, and I will be happy to help. Take care.